Today we'll be talking about using a blended learning approach to teaching the preterite tense in Spanish classes. First off, what is blended learning? Blended learning is, frankly, using the face-to-face interaction that is traditionally used in schools and incorporating online or technology in your learning. But as Shinwin and Xiaodan explained, blended learning is not just a mix of those teaching resources and mediums, but we want to include different methods as well that are well structured and unstructured learning, practice and performance. All of those things together create a good blended learning experience for students. So the subject area is Spanish, and why blended learning is so good for foreign language is that it improves communication. With technology, we can communicate in a variety of manners. Instead of just writing papers or doing skits in class, we can now make videos and have online chats and video chats and emails, and it improves our communication horizons. It also allows students to collaborate because their learning is electronic part of the way. They can work outside of class as well on the same Google Doc. They can also have expanded possibilities. I know teaching in a rural district, for me, teaching a foreign language, I don't have many opportunities for students to experience native speakers. Using a blended learning method, I can bring them in through Skype or other ways of communication. You also get quick feedback using Google Forms. I incorporate a lot of assessments that can be quickly graded, and students know exactly what they got wrong and right. And it also gives me the data very quickly, and I can see where students need more help in a lesson. It also keeps them engaged. Textbooks get boring after a while, and students need something that will keep them interested in the class. By using a blended lesson, you can go back and forth to keep things fresh continually. So the universal design for learning standards fit really well with blended learning because it varies up that audio and the visual information. With technology, you can add videos, you can have them listen to songs online. You can do so many things that vary up how students are receiving that information. You can also use different media to teach, whether that's YouTube or Google Classroom, Flipgrid, things like that. And it's also teaching them how to manage their time. Because part of the lesson is done online, students have to figure out when they're going to do that. They have to manage their resources, their time, and the information that's given them so they can be ready for class. It also allows students to more easily collaborate, which we mentioned before, and it gives the instructors the ability to give more personalized feedback. Teaching with blended learning, the first thing you want to do for that is to figure out what model you'll use. There are three basic models here. The supplemental model, which keeps the same format, you're meeting at the same time, you're just adding technology components into a traditional lesson. Replacement, you reduce the class time, but you add more things to do online that students will have to do outside of class, so they don't require any more time working. The Emporium model completely removes the traditional class and gives you a learning center approach where students can come in and get help if they need it, but they can have a section like a computer lab to do all of their work. For my lesson, I'll be doing the supplemental model because I can't really reduce the amount of class time or get rid of my class because I don't think my principal would really go for that. So this lesson is teaching the preterite tense with blended learning. The first thing I would have my students do is to read Los Tres Cerditos, or The Three Little Pigs, in class, in groups. They would be doing that like they each have a book at the table. This story is told through the preterite. He huffed and he puffed and he blew the house down. All those are in the past tense. That's the preterite tense in Spanish. And so I would have them look at those conjugations, those unknown conjugations, and identify them in their groups. I would then have students go on to their Chromebooks, and using a Google Forms quiz, they would have a YouTube video in that quiz that they would then be included into that information for the preterite tense conjugations. They would be taught that in the video and then answer questions. With those questions, as soon as all the students are done, I can put that up on the board and we can look at which questions the students got right, which ones they struggled with, and then address those. So we would be reviewing those questions face to face in class that used our technology from before. The next step I would do after we had gone over all those answers is to use Flipgrid to allow students to create their own version, to change the story their own way, and then put it up on Flipgrid, which is a discussion board that uses video instead of just typing words. They can also respond back to classmates and ask questions about their versions. And then as a teacher, on my view, I can pull that up and put it and cast it to the front of the class and have them review that and check that the conjugations in each other's stories to assess for understanding.